Hello everyone, welcome back to the kitchen table. Today on the kitchen table, I'm going to be taking a look at a really interesting concept that's available now for flyers of DJI aircraft if you're in the US. Hopefully will be rolled out worldwide as time goes on. But it's just a very interesting take on drone safety and making people aware of what's happening around the drone, and I think it's definitely worth a look. But before we go into that any further, it's the kitchen table, of course. We must have a beverage when we're talking all things drone, and I'm on the coffee again today, some home roasted monsoon Malabar again. Cheers. Oh dear, yes, that's very good. I was contacted at the end of last year by a company called Hivemapper in the US and asked if I'd take a look at their offering, I suppose. And I said, yeah, that sounds really interesting. Now, sadly, I don't live in the US, and their information is only available to people in the US. So I did have a good, almost an hour-long chat with their CEO on Skype, just kind of getting into the concept of what it is. And at its core, it's a really cool map. Now, a lot of the sort of mapping systems that are available for your drones they're fine and they use publicly available data. What Hivemapper have done is gone one further, and they've said, well, you're flying a drone in a 3D environment. Let's put some 3D data. So they have a map that in urban areas, they've used all sorts of clever sources and tricks to actually pin spot heights on things, buildings, bridges, structures, water towers. So as you're scanning the 2D map, you can actually see the height of things. This could be really useful for you if you're planning to fly in a particular area and you want to set your return to home height to make sure you're going to clear the highest obstruction in the area. That's one useful thing. Where it starts to come into its own is they've now a companion app. It's available for Android currently. They are working on their iOS version. And this is not a replacement for the DJI Go app, but it's something you can use when you're flying instead of that. It's not full featured as yet. But what it will do is present you with the normal FPV view, but it will overlay in kind of virtual reality Hivemapper's key data, which, as well as heights of things, also includes things like areas where there's a no-fly, areas where people have run into issues with law authorities. Perhaps they've been told that no, there's a new ordinance, you can't fly here. Also, people can log really cool places to get a great view. And this is all presented. Now, you'll see here what I've been showing you is, because I can't access the data in the UK, pointless me testing the app. But what I asked Hivemapper to do was to give me a real, not a demo, a real screen capture of them using a flight with their app, so you can see how it overlays the data. And as you approach the data, it gives you a warning. Now you can notice from this that it's actually quite comprehensive. Certainly in urban areas, and I think particularly in the Bay Area of California, I think that's where they're based, and that's where their data is most kind of voluminous. They've got loads and loads of key data points. But they have the ability for people to add in their own. You can add in your own data, as I said, about problems, but you can also add in your own data that represents boundaries of certain areas, boundaries of buildings, and so there's an element of sort of crowdsourcing the information and making it most accurate. So I think this is a really, really interesting concept, and something that I think might, could come into its own if it's bundled as part of a sort of fully featured app. At the moment, as far as I'm aware, as I say, I haven't been fully hands-on with it because it's not available to me in the UK. But as far as I'm aware, it's not a full replacement for the DJI Go app, like some of the third parties. You can't have access to all the camera controls. You can take I think you can take a still image with the overlay, but you can't actually direct the camera and use it as a tool. You can't also freely swap between the two. You have to fly with the Hivemapper app, maybe scope out the area, then you have to land, then you have to start the Go app, and then you can do that. But it will respect the Go settings. So if you've set certain return to home heights in the Go app, when you use the Hivemapper app and there's a problem with and it needs to return to home, it will respect some of those core settings. So definitely worth, I think, a closer look at the capabilities before you sort of leap in there. But as a concept, I thought this virtual reality representation, this warning as you approach things that are, you know, you're potentially likely to hit, I think is a really important thing, and I think is going to be required more and more perhaps as we move on in these times of increasing registration and regulation. You know, the more of these sorts of things that we have available, the more we can show the authorities that we are actually being responsible, we're doing some due diligence, we're not just chucking our drones into the air and flying anywhere. You know, we've thought about it, and I think that's only going to help the hobby. So there you go, hivemapper.com. Go and see there for more details. The 2D map is available for anyone to see. You don't have to run the app. You can use that for flight planning. You can add your own thoughts and information. Go and see that. Go and download the app, and let me know what if you're in America and you have some coverage of the area, let me know what your thoughts are about how you fly with it, and what you would like them to do to sort of take it to the next level. Anyway, I just thought that was really interesting and a sign of some of the really cool innovation that's happening in and around drones. It's available for the Phantom 2, the Visions, both of them, the original Vision, the Vision Plus, and the Inspire 1. It's available for the Phantom 3 Pro, currently not advanced or standard, I believe, but double check. They're obviously rolling out updates quite frequently. It may now operate with the standard and the Pro, but it's worth going and have a look. That's hivemapper.com. Many thanks as ever for your time, and I'll see you again soon back here at the kitchen table. Until then, cheers.